Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Hildebrandt. I'm running for Congress in Virginia's 5th District. And the reason why I'm running, I used to be a chiropractor in New Jersey for 13 years. And over those 13 years, I realized more and more that my patient's stress was coming from Washington. It was actually human-created stress. More and more, I saw that people were behind the 8 ball financially. And yet, I remembered that as a kid in the 60s, I knew somebody who worked at a local hardware store in the fishing tackle department, and he raised his whole family and his wife didn't have to work outside the home. And I wondered, well, why is that? Well, let me tell you part of the reason why it is, and that's that in the 1960s, or early 1960s, when Eisenhower left office, the wealthiest were taxed 90% on their highest income. Now that figure is down to 39.6%. So you could see that the reason why, when I was a kid, we heard of millionaires, but you never heard of billionaires. Now you hear of billionaires and most other people who are pretty much behind the 8 ball. The other stresses were the drug war. If you take a look at the drug war, especially you take a look at cannabis, marijuana, it's a plant. How could a plant be illegal? I would see people who were stressed out themselves, or their mother, or was getting arrested, or their father, or their son, or their daughter, or friends. And they were extremely stressed because they were going to be sent to live in a violent cage for possessing a plant. Now that didn't make much sense to me either. And as it turns out, as I researched matters even more, I found out that there's a cousin plant to cannabis, hemp. And hemp has over 25,000 different uses that we could be using right now. And it would actually reduce our reliance on foreign oil, as was brought up when I brought this question to Ralph Nader back in 2004. So here we could reduce our reliance on foreign oil by growing it here, and we're not because it's illegal? Now, how much sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense at all. And the bottom line is that in Washington, the way things are being run right now, it doesn't make any sense. From a medical standpoint, I took everybody's life seriously. I took seminars across the country to learn to become a better healer. And I only had my hands and my head to do it. And then I saw how careless they were in Washington. I mean, how did the land of the free go to the land of the caged? We have more prisoners in the United States, thanks to this drug war, than any other nation on earth, including China, even though they outnumber us by far. That's ridiculous. And by simple deductive reasoning, you can see that if they're chasing people for possession of a plant, then that means they're not chasing people who are, pedophiles, rapists, and murderers. Missing children won't be found. And those are backed up. That's not just simple deductive reasoning, but it's also backed by statistics. In the 1960s, 90% of homicides were solved. Nowadays, it's only like 63%. So remember that this drug war comes at a real high price. It comes at a price of leaving more pedophiles, rapists, murderers at large, more missing children. And what are we doing? Sending people to live in cages? How will future historians look back at this time? I mean, seriously. So over the years, things have gone. Back in 2000, people thought, well, some outsider, they're a spoiler. Well, that myth has gone out the window. And it's been replaced by another myth that is, why even try? Well, let me tell you something. In Congress right now, there are no independents at all who weren't once part of the game themselves, one of the two parties. And they're all, basically, they still have the same puppeteers, the same big corporate interests and other special interests fund their campaigns. And therefore, we live in a very irrational world. So a better world is possible. Please check out electken.com and give us a chance. Help spread the word, put effort in to overcome their big bucks, and we'll win. I'll only be one voice in Washington, but I'll be one voice in Washington who's telling it like it is, and that's more than we have now. Thank you.